It's great to see you. My name is Michael Williams, and in this video series, I hope that you've watched the first one, we're talking about 5 questions that you absolutely must ask and answer if you really want to overcome stuttering and become an excellent speaker. Okay, 5 questions that you must ask and answer. So we're going to look now, just do a brief review. The first question was, do I believe it's possible to overcome stuttering and become an excellent speaker? That's the first question. So please go back and watch that first video. But we're going to move to the second question, which is this. Am I willing to accept 100% responsibility for my life and for my speech? So let's just focus on the speech aspect. Some people feel like they're a victim of their speech. They're a victim of this disability, that there's nothing that they can do about it. They've tried to do some things, but nothing really worked long term, so they feel like a victim. So the question is, am I willing to accept 100% responsibility for my life, for my speech? So here's the thing. Your speech, the way that you speak, and the fact that maybe you stammer or stutter, is this. Speaking is a way, it's a style, it's a thing that we do, it's a behavior. Stammering or stuttering is a disfluent way of speaking, right? Now here's the good news. Here's the good news. Because stuttering is a disfluent way of speaking, the key word being way, ways can be changed. Ways can be replaced with new ways, and it doesn't matter if it's neurological or biological or bioneurological, genetic, doesn't really matter. We know that speaking is a behavior. We know that it's something that you do. It's also an ability and a skill. And so even if you stutter severely, because I've watched and I've helped people do this and I've done it myself, right? Because it's a way, ways can be changed. Ways can be replaced with new ways. So that's number one. As you probably already know as well, stuttering is a mindset. No, Michael, what do you mean it's a mindset? Well, here's what I mean. A person who stutters, generally speaking, tends to anticipate. There are certain words, certain letters, certain situations, right? Certain people, certain kinds of people, people in authority, people they don't know, people who are aggressive, right? Or when they have to introduce themselves, when they have to get on the phone, when they have to read numbers or say numbers, right? All kinds of situations in which people negatively anticipate. So this is a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a way of thinking. Now we know that we can change our ways of thinking, right? We can change our mindset. So that's number 2. We can change our way of speaking, right? Because it's a way, it's a behavior, and we can change our behaviors. And we can also change our way of thinking, anticipating. Oh, I'm not going to be able to say this. I won't be able to say it. I'm going to have a hard time. We can change that. The third thing that you actually have control over is what we call your speaking identity. This is very much related to the mindset. That is, you may say, well, I'm the kind of person who tends to stutter or block or whatever when I have to introduce myself, or when I have to make phone calls, or when I have to order food, or when I'm talking to a group larger than this number. I tend to get stuck. I tend to block. I tend to struggle with my speech more. So when we say I'm the kind of person, or if you don't use those words, you may say, well, I usually do this, or I'm a stutterer, or I do this. What you're saying is that this is who you believe yourself to be based on your previous experience. Based on my previous experience, whenever I introduce myself, or almost whenever, I get stuck. Or whenever I have to say this, I get stuck, right? So this has become your belief about who you are and how you speak and how you perform. It also has become a part of your identity, and specifically your speaking identity. So we have 3 aspects that we have to look at. Your style of speaking, your way of speaking, your way of thinking, and your identity, who you identify, who you see yourself, who you believe yourself to be. When we ask this question, am I willing to accept 100% responsibility for my life and for my speech, what we're actually saying is that, you know what, based on this new information, I can change or replace the way that I speak, my speaking style. It will require consistent effort over a period of time, but I can do it. Speaking is a behavior, it's an ability, it's a skill. It's a skill. It's something that I can develop. It's something I can improve. My way of thinking, I can change, I can replace that with a new way of thinking, right? Something that I'll have to do consistently, consistent effort over time, but I can do it. I can change. I have the power, the ability to change my speaking identity, how I see myself. How do I do that? Well, when I change my experiences and I change how I perform in those experiences, and I change the way that I speak, and I start to see myself as, hey, I actually can introduce myself. I can say these words, right? Pro-90D actually helps you do that. Then you start changing your speaking identity. Okay. So all three of these things must be changed. But the key here is, are you willing to accept responsibility for your life and for your speech? No one's going to do this for you. No one can do this for you. Only you can transform your speech. Only you can change the way that you speak, the way that you think, and your speaking identity. All that you need to know is how to do it. But first you have to believe it's possible. Question number one. Question number two, if I believe it's possible, am I willing to do what's necessary to make this change, right? Am I willing to do what's necessary? So, well, what's necessary? We're going to talk about that in one of the other questions. But if I knew the formula, if I knew the steps, if I had this scientifically based system, then am I going to accept responsibility to actually do this thing? So that's the question that I want you to ask and answer for yourself. Am I willing to accept 100% responsibility for my life and for my speech? All right. So in this next video, we're going to talk about another challenge that people have. Once you've done these first two, once you've answered these first two questions, and there's another challenge that people have, and we'll look at that in the next video.